Every single dish is made from scratch at the Qatar Airways catering kitchen in Doha. It churns out more than 200,000 fresh meals a day, even for regional short-haul flights. It all needs to be prepared about 48 hours before takeoff.
I think perhaps the biggest challenge is just ensuring that there's consistency and that everything runs smoothly.
The chefs here believe it's part of the reason the airline has been named #1 in the world for the 8th time since 2011. This kind of cooking used to be the standard in most flights in America too, no matter what cabin you flew on. But today, most US airlines don't run their own kitchens, opting to buy from catering services instead. So why has economy airplane food gone from luxury to a point of ridicule in the US? And why do so few airlines still cook their own meals? No workers are allowed to step foot in the kitchen without walking through this air shower corridor first.
To ensure that we have no biological or any physical contaminants go into the kitchen.
This is Felipe Hempi's playground. 4,000 people from 38 countries work at the Qatar Aircraft Catering Company, or QACC. It's a part of the Qatar Airways Group. The team develops new menus every 3 months. All the produce is fresh, even though they're operating in a food desert. They go through 30 metric tons of fruits and vegetables daily and use custom machines to help prep them for meals. Like this bin that can wash 12,000 peppers a day. And this machine that peels 6 cantaloupes in under a minute. Other produce like dragon fruit, strawberries, white asparagus get a more delicate treatment. They're peeled and carved by hand.
It's a big routine, making almost 200,000 meals a day. The team is rotated throughout their time working here.
Inside the hot kitchen, the aroma of cumin, garlic, and onions fills the air. Chefs prepare dishes of several different cuisines, from Indian to Arabic and Asian.
We base them mostly on the demographics of that flight. For example, for America, we have a lot of traffic from the Indian subcontinent.
They use over 300 potatoes every day to make aloo tikki, a popular street food in India. The kitchen goes through 36,000 whole fresh eggs a week. And another 3.5 tons of pasteurized egg whites are turned into 12,000 omelets a day. Even the smallest change can be costly.
We need to ensure that we're going to able to meet the quantities without having to make any substitutions. The moment we have any substitutions, then menu cards will be affected and things like that.
Once each dish is finalized, it's stacked on a tray and labeled.
The reason we put a barcode is to ensure we have traceability for every dish, as well as for the team on the other side to be able to easily find what they need for assembly.
It also helps them track any food safety issues down the line.
We can trace it all the way back to the person that made it, the day they made it, the time they made it, and we can then further investigate if there's a need.
The trays are cooled for 90 minutes to prevent the growth of any bacteria or pathogens. And then,
Temperature is checked once again by our infrared thermometer. Then the food is covered, scanned, and sent for storage.
it's not possible for the airline to prepare everything on the day of the flight. So usually, they make food in advance and refrigerate it for 1 day at the most. Any longer, and the taste and texture could change, especially for starchy foods like rice or pasta. But nothing is fully frozen. This cooling chamber is set to below 5 degrees Celsius and can store 3,500 trays at a time. A robotic arm adds and removes trays as needed across 30 levels. In the cold kitchen, workers prepare fruit bowls, dips, and about 12,000 sandwiches a day. Many of these items end up on short-haul flights, which are less than 3 hours long.
Peter here will request our mashed potatoes.
A few hours before the flight takes off, the food trays that were stored in the chiller are brought back in for portioning. Workers on this line have their eyes at all times on the golden sample. The combos are endless and change depending on the route. The economy meals are dished up on trays and packed away. Business class meals are temporarily portioned in these foil containers. Flight attendants will later plate and serve these dishes, paying a lot of attention to the presentation, which will ultimately look like this.